Who's got it? Come on, let's go. You get me one time.
Coach,
Yeah, Ruben's been really good. Been really pleased with all those young D linemen. They're coming on. They're aggressive. I've worked really hard knowing what to do. Far from perfect, but really like the aggressiveness and the quickness, the twitchiness of that crew.
Is Roop repping mostly inside? Okay.
He is. Yep.
Talk about your linebacker core. Played with Sean Smith, and what you've seen on him so far.
Shaq.
Shaq.
Yep, Shaq's been good. He's a great leader. Had the most votes, tied with another guy with the most votes, the defensive players for leadership. And he's very comfortable. He's playing Mike and Will both. He's had a good first 5 days, playing with confidence and sure of himself, and he's been good, very consistent.
Who are some of the other guys you're seeing emerge as leaders to replace guys like Christian in Cleveland?
I would say probably Tanner Muse, Kayvon Wallace, AJ Terrell, Shaq Smith, Jamie Skowski, Nolan Turner, Denzel Johnson, that group of guys.
What's the next step for Mike Jones?
Just getting experience. And that's just part of the maturation process. The more you play, the more you develop, and doing the little things well, consistently. And Mike's coming around. He's had a really good out of season. And the thing that I like about Mike, I think he can play more than one position. And he's athletic, and he can strike and run. And he's a smart guy. So just being consistent with fundamentals, technique, alignments, things like that.
How much have Maskell and Jeffries changed since last year?
Jeffries was playing pretty good, but he's just not as big as you'd like. He's about 265 pounds. It's just not big enough to play at this level. So if he doesn't gain any more weight, won't play a whole lot unless a disaster happens. But the reps he's taken, he's been solid. And you said Maskell, how's he come on? He's been pretty good. Again, he had a really good redshirt year. He's one of our players of the year for the red shirts. And he's aggressive, he's long, disruptive, and really can run. And he's very tough, he's a physical guy. Probably 255, 260 pounds right now.
Have you seen a sense of urgency from Xavier Kelly in the past week, especially with Niles and Jordan now?
Yep, had a pretty good. I don't know about the actual one-on-one scrimmage work stuff, but again, the Paul drill, he's really been doing well. He's at a much better place than what he was a year ago. Still a work in progress, but he's been doing well, playing more aggressively and more consistently with just as far as knowing what to do.
With the loss of defensive end, what's the development of Justin Foster been like?
Yeah, he's been good. He's a leader. I was remiss in not naming him as another leader, and Logan Foster as well. Just two workhorses in regards to their work ethic and toughness and leadership. But Justin's been good. He's playing physical, tough guy to move, and he's 260 plus pounds. Very heavy-handed, and expect him to take another step, from a year ago.
How much do you think redshirting helped KJ Henry?
Oh, I think tremendously. Obviously, the weight room work, the mindset, the humility, the toughness that power hour can help create, and just learning what to do more, and again, just maturing overall. But KJ's flashed and has had some really good moments so far through 5 days.
Anybody standing out of that cornerback spot outside? Opposite AJ right now.
Well, Goodrich has been out for a couple days, and Kyler McMichael's been out for a couple days. So I'll say Lee Anthony's gotten better. Sheridan has flashed, but then that's it. About done after that.
Were they out for injury?
Yeah.
Going back to the red shirts, James
Big
Skowski.
ACLs with both of them.
James Skowski, you guys played that red shirt off.
I'm not sure though. You might have to check. I'm sorry.
With James Skowski, you played that red shirt off last year at the end of the year. Talk about what James has got to bring to the table this year from his experience level.
Well, I know what he will bring. He'll bring toughness, effort, leadership. Plays a million miles an hour, great instincts. Plays very, very fast. Can play multiple positions. Just got a great feel for the game. Tremendous pride. Very hard on himself. He's a natural in a lot of ways.
How different is it this spring, having so many different maybe spots where you have to replace guys from last year?
How different? Like on a Richter scale different?
Like is it okay? Is it different?
Yeah, we're on
what are
different
some of the
planets from
differences?
where we were a year ago, for sure. You know, got to start over. They say that all the time, but you got to literally start all the way over. So, you know, just a lot of coaching and teaching, and correcting, and nurturing and guiding. You know, so yeah, we're in a much different place.
How would you compare it to 2015 when you lost that big group?
A lot different.
In what way?
A lot different. Just we don't have as much experience back. You know, we had a lot of experience back. You know, they just weren't starters. So you lost the starters, like we did last year, but there's not much experience. You know, we lost a 2 deep at the end, and we lost you know, through a year ago when the guys that had transferred out, they opted to transfer with Jabril and Sterling Johnson. Those 2 guys would have been on our team this last year, and they decided to leave a year early. So you lost a bunch of guys quickly, and then you lost Belk. You know, you had some bunch of 2 deep guys that would have been coming back, at least more numbers coming back. And then of course you don't have Niles and Jordan out there. So there's your 4 backups, you know, that would be there that aren't there. None of them are there. So that's how you're peeling it all the way back to the core. Everybody's gone. They're all gone except for Xavier Thomas.
With Niles and Jordan out, is anybody kind of stepping up and taking advantage of those reps at defensive tackle?
Well, I mean, they're all taking advantage because they're getting the reps. But, I mean, you know, if those guys would be in there, they'd be taking some reps. So anybody that's on the roster is taking reps right now.
I'm just saying, has anybody stood out from that group?
Nah, yeah. Tyler Davis has been pretty good. Like I said, I made a comment right away about all the young guys. I like them all. Xavier is better than he was a year ago. He said he had a good day. And but we got a lot of work to do.
Is there a fun element to this rebuilding process?
Sure. I mean, it's always fun. It's football, it's coaching, it's teaching, it's motivating, it's challenging, it's all fun. So there's a real innocence about, you know, these guys and where they're at right now. And they're hungry and eager to learn. And there's a lot of guys that are hungry for their opportunities, whether it's linebacker, you know, Shaq, Chad, Jamie, Mike Jones, or it's, you know, a guy like Anthony Williams, or Denzel Johnson that's trying to win a job. You know, we're moving him, playing him some at corner. Kayvon Wallace played a little corner. You know, certainly all those guys inside. You know, KJ wants a spot. Justin Maskell wants a spot. You know, Logan Rudolph and, you know, Justin Foster and Xavier Thomas don't want to give up a spot, you know. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun to watch those guys compete and battle it out.
But one group you do have a little bit of experience in could be the safeties. What about the new guys that have come into the safeties group, Charleston?
Yeah,
and Sanders?
so Joseph Charleston was hurt, didn't practice today. He's shown some stuff. He's disrupted, got some picks and knocked some balls loose prior to getting hurt. And Landon, he's had I know he had a pick Monday, had a really nice play. So he's very smooth and picking stuff up. And then the other, who's the other safety from Alabama? Ray Thornton is, you know, he's coming off of labor surgery, so he's not practicing.
You surprised at all by Mark Fields' 40 time at the combine? Or
No,
that was about
he won. Didn't he win the opening out of high school? No,
Remember that far
No?
back?
Come on. Yeah, I think he won the fastest high school player in the country out of high school. I think very similar time. He's very, very fast. Happy for him. You know, he tested really well and looked like he did his drills pretty good. So hopefully he stays healthy and has a you know, great opportunity in the NFL sitting in front of him. He can cover. Tough kid. So.
What about the rest of that NFL group?
I'm sorry?
The rest of that NFL
Yeah,
group?
they all look good, proud for them, happy for them, excited for them. You know, they're all going to have great futures. They're all very mature guys that are ready for their opportunity. And you know, whether it's Kendall and Trey. I know Trey didn't test. He had a PCL and a strain in his pec. I think he had a PCL. He hurt his ankle, both, you know, the last part of the season. And so anyway, those guys I'm excited for pro day to get here and to see them all. But other than Dexter getting banged up, but he'll be fine. He was here today.
What specifically do you like out of Tyler?
Yeah, so he's tough, he's physical, plays fast, he's super smart. He was in that film room with those other young D tackles. All those D tackles, really, since we got back, they've been in that dang film room. You just see them because their film room is right next to our staff room, and they're just in and out all day, every day, and it shows. You know, those guys know what to do for the most part, and they haven't been perfect, but they got a super good knowledge base to them, and you know that's part of it. You know, being able to play aggressive and learning new verbiage and language and being able to go out and execute it. And you know, we're installing, you know, fairly aggressively, maybe not quite as much as we normally do, but still, you know, still putting a lot on them, and they've responded well. But Tyler has kind of led the charge in that group. The other guys have worked every bit as hard. Tyler's very intelligent. Things come easy to him, and he plays with quickness and heavy hands and can really move his feet and bend. So none of them are afraid of the moment either, and that's what you really like about them. It's a very aggressive group of guys, very eager to learn, but yet they have humility and toughness to them. So so far so good. You know, great young guys too, just fun to be around and very focused. And whether it's school or it's the weight room or it's the mat drills or now we're in spring ball, you know, I'd be hard pressed to pick out one of them that's had a really tough day or tough moment or a tough transition. They've all transitioned really well, and fortunately for us, because we've needed them all too. And usually that doesn't happen. You know, usually half of them do and half of them don't.
In what ways has Xavier Thomas grown from?
Well, probably I would say his knowledge, and then his fundamentals, and then probably his assuredness that goes along with that. And you know, don't just be a great athlete, an explosive player, a guy that can run. Be a really good defensive end, you know. And so you anticipate, you put your eyes in the right places. You got the right fundamentals to go along with, you know, your explosiveness and your physicalness, and so that's all coming, you know, into fruition. You know, and he's still working. Got work to do, but you know, he knows better than anybody. That's what he needed to really focus on. And so and then being a leader, you know, just again, start with your position group, be a good leader in your position group, and develop from there.
What's the team going to get when they draft Trayvon Mullen?
Oh man, very mature, very long, explosive, instinctive corner with great ball skills, terrific transitional movement, tracks the ball very well. He was a former receiver and never really gets turned around much, knows where that ball is going to be. But just great maturity, respect for the game, respect for his teammates, respect for the organization, an appreciation for teammates and all of that. He's been a very selfless player, and that'll transition to his leadership skills and being a great teammate going to the NFL. You know, that's a tough dynamic going to the NFL. It's very business. Like, as we all know, but what I'm saying is, like, this is a family and a business, and we really promote, you know, being a part of the family. We're there, everybody's competing with each other for their jobs, and it's about putting paychecks on, you know, in the bank account, and you know, a lot of free agency and a lot of turnover with coaches and players alike. But he's going to be a guy that can help transform a locker room and be a great leader and serve his teammates and serve his community, all the while by being a great corner too, you know, being a terrific player. So to me, he's the total package.
What is it about Shaq Smith's personality that everyone in this program seems to be so
He's
strong?
just a great leader. He always has been. He was that way, whether he's at St. Francis prior to transferring to IMG. He's got an old soul to him. He's got, you know, maturity beyond his years, always has. He's got humility. He's got a great work ethic. He's never one to even, you know, again, I can promise you that, you know, I knew the days where he wanted a little more action or he wanted a little more success, but he's always had a willingness to stay, you know, in his lane and support the team and just be a very selfless guy. But again, a great worker, takes care of his business off the field, you know, he's very much like Christian Wilkins. He's a little more serious than Christian. Christian's a little silly, as we all know. And Shaq likes to have a good time like anybody, but he can be friends with anybody, and he can relate to anybody at any level. And so those are the biggest things, you know. Being a good teammate is important to him. Being a good friend is important to him. Being a vicious, violent competitor is important to him. And so he gets it, you know. He knows how to toe the line. And just maturity as much as for us as coaches. That's what we have a great appreciation for him, is just his maturity and his attitude's always on the right thing. If it's time to meet, he's ready to meet. If it's time to practice, he's ready to compete. You know, if we're going to Frankie's Fun Park, he's ready to have some fun. So, you know, he just has a great, you know, demeanor to him. He's a great son. His mom, she's unbelievable. You know, they got a very unique relationship and very wonderful relationship. So they've been very, very supportive. But Shaq's a neat guy. Got a lot to him, been through a lot, and you know, happy for him. And it's just his time.
Thanks, Coach.
All right.